with that, I think we are all set. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back, hopefully, to Mecha Mondays. I am your host, Fragath, and this is another Centuries episode 2, as opposed to 1. I'm going to have to tweak controls, but that's okay. So, this is the sequel. As you can see, I can dash right by stuff, and it will keep the lock on. Unlike last time. Oops. Boink. It's also a lot easier to do melee as a result. It's a lot less guesswork, because melee is its own dedicated series of buttons. 1, 2. A lot of units have an additional ranged attack. Yeah, it's a toggle. I'm going to need that to change. Okay, options, where art thou? No. I may not be able to change these yet. Oh no! So this is the starting unit in the game. It is an original unit. I think it's called the Gun Arc or Gun Arch. Gun Arc sounds right. Because I've played through the game a couple times before, it is strong. As it is pretty strong. However, it is not weak. It's got a little bit of everything, including... Oh my goodness, that's going to have to change. Because I'm not going to cycle through these every single time I want to shoot things. That's just not in the cards. No. Also, multi-lock, yes. Looks like it's trying to auto-level me as well, which is a tad infuriating. Not too bad, but I prefer it didn't. I think this multi-locking is all impressive, and it is. Is that this thing? Yeah, so ordinarily, I'm able to call up like a rosette. So, Gun Arc. It's kind of strong. So this is a charge weapon. You can charge it up. There's a couple different weapons that'll do stuff like that. I don't remember the range on it. It doesn't matter. It's gonna eradicate those things. There we go. So, ideally, that is much easier to do than it just looked like it was. And the flight controls are reversed, which does not help the frag. So, not all the bugs have been worked out because I chose my options poorly. I'm clever. So we start off in its weird little bastard world of mishmashed different universes. Oh, there it is. Where is it? It must be above me. And this is in Australia, right now during the beginning portion of 0083's Stardust Memory. Now what that means, of course, is that we are not too far from now going to see some familiar faces. I'm going to engage in melee combat, which might be what they want me to do right now, actually. And yeah, that's part of a melee combo. It doesn't cost me nothing to do. Other units get even more impressive. Similar stunts. I should be trying much harder to avoid getting hit. So yeah, I think it's a really cool original unit. It's, in terms of raw damage output, it's absurdly strong because of a thing it can do that I will probably show off shortly. So these are moving enemies. Moving enemies move. It means they are harder to hit because they move. Clank. Missiles will try very, very hard to predict what exactly the hell you're doing. Mixed success there. Now we're starting to get introduced to some familiar faces, as mentioned before. So now we're in that little opening, training segment. And then things are going to shift rather dramatically. And I don't remember what this is. It's a gun. It shoots things. Ah, yes. And our boy has a girlfriend. So what we're going to do is we're going to eradicate the girlfriend from the face of the earth and take much of our health with it. So yes, we can do an orbital ion cannon strike. She's dead now. We just took a third of our health off though, which kills, and I do mean kills, our, oh my gosh, having to confirm every single time when I want to switch weapons is going to change so fast, it'll make your head spin. That's an exploding thing. That does the most damage in one hit of anything in the game, I believe, but it takes like a third of your health away. It's spectacular. There's a couple bosses where that's actually going to be very handy. Oh, Jesus. I hope I have my... Yeah, I do. Good. I was going to say, I think I've been speaking. Also, cutscenes, much more impressive this go around. They've got little animated faces. 3D animated faces. No other entry in the game does that. In the series does that, unfortunately. So it's going to rate me pretty poorly for time, more than anything else, which is interesting. I've got this thing basically maxed out, so I'm gonna let it save. Started a new game, because I might turn this into a mini-series where I do a couple of these. Okay, option. No, wrong button. Next one down, I think. Where's the next one up? Fudge. Well, we can hear. No. No. Yeah, okay. You get the idea. There's a music selector. Okay, so I need to find the control suites. And I do not remember where that is. Give me a sec. This is embarrassing. I told myself I had this sorted, and then, like, I screwed something up, and I was like, ah, crap. And then I realized that I was getting really short for time. So, give me a sec. Here we go. And there should be... Where are you? Controls. I'm in the wrong one. There we go. Now, there are two versions of this game. I might as well list those while I'm here. Oh, I might as well. Ah, here we go. Controller type. There we go. Shift. Flight type. Easy. Flight. Height adjust I want off. Quick turn I want on. Vibration I'll leave on because ooh, vibration. Let's say it's easy reverse is the one I usually go with, but I can't remember now. Okay, but we should be all set. I'm gonna go back into that menu and make sure that's stuck, because if it didn't, I'm gonna be upset. There we go. Very good. Okay, moving right along. I think that was the wrong one. Yes, it was. I can show off various units that are in the game that way, though. They're pretty character models. But I do not want to do that yet. There's a email service. Where are you? Is this it? No. Ah, here they are, I think. I believe this is it right here, where I can go through the mecha list. Now there's a bunch that I don't have at the moment. Now, where's the upgrade menu? Is it there? No, that's weapon listing. Here it is. I think this is it. I don't have things upgraded all the way on Given. Anyone but him. So with this really expensive thing that level to 50,000, that will give me infinite ammo on everything, which is a nice little thing you get from unlocking like everything else on a unit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade this ever so slightly. This is the Buster Arc. It's kind of good. I don't know what that is. I think that's thrusters. I could find a list that's not that hard, but I'm not going to do it now. I am also going to... Where are you? Put a little bit of upgrade on the GPO1 and GPO2. There we go. That'll do for now. And where's the GPO2? Oh, GPO3 rather. Blip, 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 blip. May as well do it evenly because why not? So as you can see, just based off of character portraits, there is some decent variety here. I will for sure be playing as a Macross unit at some point today, because these things are a blast, and I mean that literally. They shoot many missiles. And my cat is being an insufferable little pest, but I love him dearly, so he can get away with it. Where are you? There's one other I tend to like to play as. The Falguin. I do want to actually do some upgrades because I haven't done it in a million years. And I might as well. Nope, you are upgraded to a point in which you are perfectly adequate for my needs. I forget what Max gets. Max gets something really fancy, but I can't remember what it is right now. Or am I thinking of Ace 3? I am probably thinking of Ace 3. Okay. That should do it for now, I think. Falguin. Right. No, I'll leave him there because I already did that. Oh, and yet I have you unlocked. Interesting. I did not think I had the roided up Rancher unlocked. Very strange. Okay, so I'm gonna call it good at that. Let's get to the menu where... Oh no, I don't want to select that. I want to go back. Because I need to get to... I think it's this menu? Yes, this is the one. Okay, now here I believe it should... Stop. Let me choose my friendos. Here we go. Yes, good. But what I'm going to do is I am going to play as, and I forgot to upgrade Gato. Because I'm a smarty pants. Give me a sec. Because I wanted to play as Gato in this mission, because it's charming. It pleases me to do so. You picked the wrong one. That's the problem. This has exceptionally complicated menus, I might add. Like, these are pretty loaded. This is the one. And so a lot of this is muscle memory, and I have all the wrong muscles and all the wrong memory, and I don't remember what the one below that is. There are a bunch of things you can unlock in this game, and I do mean a bunch. Here we go. Sort by series. Why did I forget that existed? How shameful. Okay, I definitely want to bump up. I believe that's melee attack power. Yeah, forget. I'm gonna play as Gato because it pleases me to do so. Let's see. Yeah. We're gonna skip that. Because this way I get to show off a little bit of the melee. Interesting that they even let me play as Gato on this mission because of what comes later. Yes, those all look correct. Okay, so Gato is an interesting example of the game's mechanics as well. Is it going to let me have Co? No, it is not. The reason I can't play, by the way, is the GPO3 is simple. It is space only. You cannot circumvent that. Hey, do I really not have the... No, the HWS new might only be in 3, or I may have only unlocked it in 3. You've got the entire Endless Waltz team here from Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. You've got Martian successor Nadeshiko, Prince of Darkness, which was, again, that really depressing movie. You've got your brains. You've got the villain from Brain Powered. You have the Falguin as well. I think Ace 2 is the one in which you can unlock the Falguin custom or the Laser Mark II. But do not hold frag to this. It has been a little while, gosh darn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the Falguin along, because he's actually kind of a lot like Gato, actually. At least in my opinion. There are similarities there. Oh, does it really give me the option to upgrade straight from this menu? It sure does. Okay. So we're just going to hop right into it. The cutscenes this go around are a lot better too, which is why I'm probably not going to skip all of them. The soundtrack is good. So there are, as I intimated earlier and then totally forgot to intimate because I got caught up in what I was doing, there are two versions of this game. The original regular version and the Vocal Sound Edition, which has vocal versions of all the tracks that would have vocal versions, and somehow I managed to play as the wrong unit entirely. Good work, dude. It's okay, this thing's busted. Hence why it's called the Buster Arc. Haha. There we go. Wow, they are, I may have upped the difficulty unconsciously as well, which isn't that bad. So the Buster Arc, it's kind of crazy. You wind up fighting it a couple times throughout the story. So strictly speaking, I should not be using it. The game does still have kind of finicky, some really finicky bits in terms of what it's going to let you do. Like, it'll chain dash when I don't really want it to. So, because it's a whole bunch of... Whoa. So this is definitely Ace difficulty and not something lower. Because these guys are not fucking around in the slightest. So the Buster Arc is very good. But I would still put it a little below the gun arc. Oh, here we go. So there's also combination attacks, depending on, whoops. Oops, 1, 2, there we go. So I can do that for free. And that auto multi-targets as well, which is convenient. But, oh, here we go. Here he is. So that's apparently what happened. So I must have hit X instead of something else. Oops. So this is a thing that can happen. You can very much... You can very much have your melee attacks blocked. That's not even the really obnoxious one. This I am going to skip, because I have a life. Yeah, they all run away. So, what's happening behind the scenes here is there are other factions getting involved in this particular scenario, like the Giganos Empire. From Metal Armor Dragonar. Who's that SPT Laser? These are not them, though. These are some originals, I believe. not hurt me quite the same way. I am going to kill this thing with extreme prejudice because the officer units in this game tend to be pretty much no joke. This game is also, again, like I was mentioning last time, considerably more challenging than 3, where there's basically zero challenge. Juice. The majority of the time. Something I'm not pleased with. Like, everything else 3 does pretty well. 1, 2, shooty shoot, please. 1, 2, yes. Now, I could get into a heated discussion on the relative merits of Another Century's Episode 3, or Another Century's Episode R, but I will not do that, because people will have interesting opinions of me afterwards. So there is a 4th game in the series, technically a 5th if you include the PSP title, which I don't, because I have some gripes with Ace R, but I generally like it. But Another Century's Episode Portable, I have a mountain of issues with. Okay. That was some stuff. So we're going to skip that. We're going to go back to where our characters were. And we're going to try and figure out what the hell I did wrong. I'm going to skip this cutscene as well. So, your girlfriend starts on your team, and then she leaves, and then she comes back, and I don't remember all the reasons why that occurs. Suffice it to say, it happens. We're going to skip this too, and hopefully this time I will not muck up and pick the wrong unit. Gato. Where be thee, Gato? There you are. Yeah, I think that's what I did, is I did not confirm properly. Yes, okay, good. And then for a 3rd unit, and you do want to have a 3rd unit, it's usually advisable. Is it really going to let me have the regular GPO 3? That's handy. We will, of course, do that then. And it lets you occasionally switch between loadout packs. It is obviously not going to let me have... Would it? Yeah, well, because it's space only. Duh. Okay. So we should be basically ready to go. So depending on who you choose, you actually can get special combination attacks. This, because I have, and as a result, I am in fact going to pick a different. Oh, did I come in? There we go. Yeah, just get over there a sec. Because I have a 3rd unit in there, it's probably going to react poorly. But I'm going to endeavor to get my... I passed right by them, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Let's look at it more closely. Here we go. Mayo Plato, I believe was his name in the Falguin. Seriously, if you have not watched Metal Armor Dragon R, I wholeheartedly recommend it. The difficulty there, of course, is that there is no official translation. The subs that exist, the version I wound up watching. I just love Dragon R a lot. The version I wound up watching was pretty abysmal. The subtitles for it, they were like from Hong Kong or something, I don't know. There is a group working on doing subtitles for it. They are not done the series, but they're most of the way through. I don't even remember this guy's name. It's really sad. It's too bad. It's great. As a series, it's just wonderful. Again, it's like the best Gundam series ever made that doesn't have the Gundam name. A lot of all the ideas are there. The setting just reeks of Universal Century in the best way possible. So, I shouldn't do that. I didn't want to do that. It's too late. It's dead now. It's dead now. So yeah, why they decided to make that his default weapon, I don't know. But I'm okay with it, because it's awesome. So I'm gonna have my shield deployed. Oh, it's a shield bash was what it was, okay. Boot to the face! Now there should... it could be that I don't have it unlocked yet, and that's the issue. Clank. Head Vulcans in this game ranged from pretty good to, oh my gosh, why are they destroying everything? These are just Head Vulcans, right? You'd be right. They're pretty good. Better on some units than others. On this unit they are quite good because he has like nothing else, so he sort of needs it. Melee tracking is better in this game than Ace 1. So my goal here, though... I'm gonna go after that. The Giganos units are not particularly strong. They're not bad, but they're not particularly strong. They're on a par with your average socket. They're a little less durable. Because they get to fly around more. Duh! In series, they have a very nice variety, but they're actually pretty down to earth. You have a lot fewer beam weapons in Dragonar than you do in Gundam. It's like solid munitions all the way. That's right. It's got a finicky targeting range. Clank. Boostin'. I shoot your building. I shoot your helicopters. There we go. So it occurs to me that I've been using this guy as a very much as a melee or a ranged unit. It is not necessarily his job. So Ace R. The fourth game in the series, which is on the PS3, looks quite pretty. Has a whole range of issues. It's a very cool game, but oh boy, it has, like, the issues it has should be minor and are minor on their own, but taken as a whole, they are quite infuriating. So for starters, it's got a number of unskippable cutscenes, but not all the cutscenes are unskippable. If I had a functioning HDMI adapter, I would for sure stream it, but I do not. I have a functioning HDMI streaming adapter. Other adapters I got. HDMI is not one of them. I meant to kill these. Damn it! They're gonna send a boss to make my life difficult, so I'm gonna get this reloading. Yeah, it's not gonna let me kill it, even though I can't target it. So unskippable cutscenes. Not all of them. Unfortunately, one of them is also like about 10 minutes long. Oof. And that's a big oof. One of them is like 5 minutes. One of them is about 10. It's a little less, but if you leave it, because it's intermixed with a scrolling shooter segment. I can't skip this portion because it's gameplay. This is again Ace R, the 4th game in the series. That's not too bad. It's not great though. Let's see. Yes, I do want to save. And I'm going to wind up upgrading this guy a little bit so that he's a little more pleasant to use. One of them is one of the unskippable cutscenes is it's combined with like a scrolling shooter segment where you use whatever mech you're using at the time to grin and bear. That's really unfortunate. I think that's repairs. I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna have to back up and do it the hard way, apparently. For your main mech, anyway. This is fine. That was the wrong one. This is fine. So, I had a point and I lost it. It ran away from me. I'm gonna get this input right. I'm in the wrong button. There it is. There it is. Jesus Christ. Here we go. This should expand my weaponry capabilities. Do that a second time. I'm going to do that a third time because I need it. Now if I go here and check weapon set, it is all the fucking same. So maybe that was the wrong one. Oops. And I didn't improve my melee attacks either. I think that's how much you have to spend before that becomes available. Or it's how much. Yeah, I think that's you have to blow a lot. You have to get a lot of points popped into these things before you can upgrade them in certain areas. So unskippable cutscenes. All of the unskippable cutscenes, due to their length, due to their content, are due to their content. And I've never gotten I've never read any official confirmation that this was the case, but because all of the unskippable cutscenes are songs typically, or contain songs, vocal songs, from Macross Frontier, one of the headlining series in the game, I am assuming there was a deal made. Yes, I acknowledge that I took damage, between either the record company or their agent, the singer's agents, that basically said, yeah, you can have these songs in there, but they have to be played in full and you cannot skip them. Stop. So, those are unskippable. Unfortunately. Not so with the rest of the series, though. But unfortunately, that's also, like, not the worst. Not one of the worst things it does. It also has a very, unlike all the other entries, this one included. Hello? Another Centuries Episode R has punch this thing to death. I don't like it. Clank. Has a... Instead of having like... Ah, gosh darn it. Not what I wanted to do. ASR has all kinds of... instead of ammo gauges and whatnot, it's got a system, a tension gauge system. So every special attack you can perform has a certain amount of tension cost associated with it. Unfortunately, there are also... I shoot. Different characters have different means of gaining tension in that game. So some of them do it based on time. So they only gain tension over time. They don't gain it any other way. Some are based on kills, and some are based on number of hits dealt on an enemy. Now, that's fine and dandy. It also means that some characters, and therefore units, are only effective in certain situations, or rather, I should say, some units and characters are absolutely terrible in certain situations. So a character that gains tension over time and only over time is pretty good for a boss fight, but kind of a pain in the ass for any other period, for any other point in the game, because he can't use his special abilities the majority of the time. Or he can only use them sporadically. Conversely, a character that gains based on kills... Oh, no you don't. Oh, no you don't. Oh, I actually won that one. Interesting. So, he hasn't done the really fancy thing that... Oh, there it is. So... Clank. There is a really adorable... This is what I've been dreading all along. Sometimes I'm winning these, it looks like. So let me concentrate on this boss fight. So ordinarily I don't win those, and I'm not sure why the game is being benevolent all of a sudden. It's got me a little concerned. Oh, cool. It's, I was about to say his wrong name. It's Gonjam. I was about to say his incorrectly translated name. In the terrible subs of subtitles for Dragonar that I had watched ages ago, his name is translated, for reasons I cannot imagine, as Wedley. His name sounds nothing like Wedley. His name sounds like Gonjam. But them's the breaks. That's how it works. That's how it was in that translation. That terrible, terrible translation. So I have very low health at the moment. That has me extremely frightened. So what can happen there? And what's also really screwing my cookies here is, oh shit. Clank him in the face! Clank him in the face! Because I was expecting I would have the deployable shield that I'm supposed to friggin' have. Oh no, I am dead. This does not surprise me over much, because I really fucked that up. So, problems with Gato. He doesn't have much. Okay. Moving right along. I'll switch to a Macross unit. I'll be able to blitz through this no problem. I hope that wasn't retry. It probably was. It was. Consarn it. How much health is it going to give me is the question. Yeah, it's not going to help me much. Okay. We're going to back out. We're going to pick Roy. My boy Roy. Stab. Where are you? No other way. It should be the VF1S. Yes, it is. The only VF1S that matters. Will it let me do that, or is that space restricted? It appears to be space restricted, even though I thought it was not. I'm gonna pick some partner unit. Probably Max, because Max has more fun. Yeah, it's still space restricted. Alternatively. Now, Max and Miria, I believe, have a combination attack as well, which I'm not going to fordiddle with. However, I will. I didn't realize it had the vanilla. I must have unlocked the armored pack and never went back. There's good reasons for that. Actually, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go the armored pack. So I have to do like some hardcore switching around of things. Because I like missiles. I like missiles a lot, folks. Missiles are great. And we're going to use missiles today. There will be missile use this day. Oh man, I've gone like 3 topics deep and skipped ahead and around and sideways. So ASAR. So tension gauge. So if you therefore if your character only gained tension through kills, boss fights you basically had whatever you went in there with, and that was it. If you, I don't want SP. I have to get into targeting range. Apparently that's short. Whoosh. So multi-targeting missiles are truly a pleasure. I think I gained those back pretty quickly from what I remember as well. Oh, come on. There we go. I think SP will purge the armor, which I very decidedly don't want to do. Even a little bit. There we go. Missiles, or rather, hittles. Because they hit so darn often. Clank. Or rather, floosh and kaboom. I did not keep an eye on my boost gauge. This is unfortunate, but expected. So those didn't hit. In this game and 3, I believe, a little known feature, and I want to say ASR had it too, to some extent or another. A little documented feature was that certain weapon types could shoot down missiles, which I thought was really cool. To kill you. Alright, so I have killed the things, and now I have the dubious pleasure of killing Revenge Murderface here. Or poorly misplaced anger. The character. Hey, hey! Oh, I'm out of juice. That's why I can't dodge. So as you can see, this is not doing much to him. Oh my goodness, go away. I'm just gonna keep... So, boost gauge management is sort of important. Oh, shoot. I do actually want to keep a hold of those. Some characters have one-time use weapons. Not very many. Not very many. Oh dear. It's definitely causing me some trouble. Here we go. Hajimeruka indeed. Wedley. Ganjam. His name is Ganjam. And then, continuing my previous thought that I keep, again, interrupting like an idiot. Oh, I meant to shoot down her first, but I forgot. Oh well, he's dead. Oh no, SP shoots everything off. Never mind. I would have used that ages ago had I known that it shot all the bullets. All the missiles. Rather. Come on, face the... There we go. And then, so the third tension gain type in Ace R, again, 2 games after this one, was based on hit, and that was kind of a 50-50 prospect. Arguably the most reliable, but it depended very heavily on which mech was being used at the time. So it made some units that would have otherwise been pretty strong absolutely broken beyond belief. It made other units were like, oh, okay, that's fairly humdrum. What it tended to do was it tended to mean that if there was a specific move in your arsenal that could do a lot of hits, but not necessarily tons of damage, though that would be nice too, you could gain tension for days. So what this translated to was melee, and that delves into a whole nother area. So obviously the ideal would have been if they'd combined all those so that you gained some tension on kill, some tension on hit, and then some tension over time. But that's not the direction they went. So instead it meant that some characters had the worst time in the world. So melee then was a bit of an interesting issue in and of itself. That's the wrong one. I wanted to pump some upgrades in to the GP03, which is this one. Oh, it's the next one down, dude. There we go. That's the one. So melee was cool in Ace R, is cool in Ace R, will be cool in Ace R. I won't be getting to that for ages until I'm able to get an actual thing that I can do that with. Here's the GPO3, 5400 something or others. I don't remember what that does. boost? Sugared if I remember. Oh, it might be you have to earn a certain amount of score additionally with it in order to, this is also possible. Because I don't remember. It's been a long damn time. So melee in Ace R is, there's a lot going on. You have a lot of different melee moves in most of the rest of the Ace series, such as this one. Your movesets are pretty basic. Like, I'll grab the God Gundam to show what I'm talking about, because he's about the most complex. Here we go. Melee. Where's Melee? Oh, yeah. This is about as complex as Melee gets. So it's O square, O. O square will usually be a knockback attack, which will present you an opportunity to do a follow-up afterwards. 4 O's, O square, O square O square. Kind of like Dynasty Warriors, I guess, in its way, except just different buttons. Now, and I will play as this guy. Yes, there we go. I do not have the Master Gundam unlocked for some reason. I forget what I have to do that. I could look up a list, but I'm not going to at this time. Can I bring the GPO? Where are you? GPO2, get your ass over here, you thing, you. And let me get the GPO3 as well. Yeah, I'd forgotten you have to actually use them. Ha! Ha! This is not space stuff yet. So, but in Ace R, it's like... Sorry. Launching sequences are beautiful in this. For some of the characters. They really ham it up with the G Gundam stuff, because G Gundam, let's face it, is really hammy. It is so much. It's fun. It's fun. Something about small frame. Oh, do your thing, dudes. So in oh, here we go. We got brains up in here. If you're wondering why he's in that pose, there are very good reasons for that. I promise. It's cockpit shaped. Related, rather. Oh, I forgot he has a hyper gauge. I forgot all about this. So, in this game, ow, frig. Ow, frig. 1, 2. I'm getting bodied in the worst way, and a lot of that is because this game in particular is not forgiving for melee. In Ace 3, this wouldn't even be a thing. Like, this would just be comical. And I'll probably show that off. Probably not the next stream, though. And yes, I have 2 sets of Vulcans. Don't think about it too hard, though. Let's see, that would have been real nice to hit with. So you get all sorts of cool toys. Oh, can I? Oh, do I need to max out my gauge? I never had to do. Oh, I know what it is. Bet you anything. Yeah, there we go. I think I have to be in hyper mode to do it. So you can go into hyper mode. The G Gundam stuff has a lot of fun. It's woefully impractical, but it is hilarious. Why even live, bro? Even Gato had something irreverent to say on that one. So you get like one hyper attack, and then that's like... Now, 1, 2, square... No? I think that is the Kyaku then. Never mind. I'm just gonna do my spin to win again. That seemed to work really well before. They can still hurt me very much. They can still hurt me through that. So, unfortunately, this is probably the most effective thing I had in my arsenal, and that's really sad. It doesn't help that there's like a million years between like given attack moves in this one. That is sped up dramatically. And of course, these are brains, units from Brain Powered, and the units from Brain Powered are disgusting to begin with, because they've got that obnoxious teleportation crap. That's not what I want to do, even a little bit. Fortunately, I can do it a lot, so that's okay. Hey, get back here. I had a stream of thought that was going on before. I don't remember what happened to it, so we're just gonna pretend it didn't happen. Yeah, I'm definitely playing on ace difficulty here. There is no way that on the lower difficulty I'd be getting bodied this badly. Yeah, it's okay. We can ignore you, it's fine. Okay, so what we want to do first is we very much want to get that going. I don't think this is one of the special ones. The special ones you'll know real early on. She might actually kill me. I'd like to believe that she wouldn't, but she could very well do that. So we're gonna hope that she doesn't kill me before I can get this off. Goodness. I am hitting her occasionally, so that's something. I'm gonna slam her again and hope for the best. There we go. I think it was related to tension gate. Melee system in Another Century's episode R. So in that game, there's directional inputs involved. So you'll do like melee attack, forward, melee attack, melee attack, melee attack. It'll usually do like a sequence, or but they tend to be fairly short. So it's usually only like 3 inputs long. Now some are extremely strong, like inordinate, much stronger than they have any right to be. There's also units that have there's also a grappling / grab system, which is very simple and straightforward, and that is sort of the downside. Is it's based almost entirely on mecha size. So what this translates to is there are some mechs that are going to be able to grab absolutely everything. Everything can be grabbed as far as they're concerned, because they're 3 times the size of the rest of the cast. I think you can grab one size up from where you are. And this is a game that has Aquarian in it, and Aquarian enemies, and those are quite large indeed. Um, but a lot of the melee units are a lot of the melee units wind up being stuff from Code Geass. Those are tiny. Nightmare frames are small, and they cannot do grabbing so well. So they can get grabbed by absolutely everything, but can do very little grabbing indeed of their own. So that's a system that, while very cool, is absolutely worthless for a sizable chunk of the cast, which I thought was immensely frustrating. I'm going to switch back to using the GPO3. So when I was talking about some units that have the here we go. Okay, so I've got to jiggle stuff around a little bit here. Oh, I jiggled wrongly. There we go. And I don't think I can do space yet. I cannot do space yet. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if it will let me do... Oh, that's the... Yeah, here we go. That's for healing, and I want to do that. As well bring you along. You won't hurt. So units that were absurdly broken because they did their tension gauge from number of hits. So there is a unit in there. It's King Gainer from the show Overman, Metal Overman King Gainer. And it's got a melee attack that basically turns its sword into a chainsaw, and you gain credit for every single little grinding fraction of a second that it is doing its thing. It is disgusting. You gain like full tension gauge from one attack, and then you can do whatever you want, and then you just have to do that one more time. So that unit, despite being fairly strong in melee, winds up being your go-to for being disgustingly busted. Now, where the problems start is that with giant bosses. So melee attacks won't work on them because you'll bounce right off. This is unfortunate. So you bounce right off. Here we go. There we go. I knew I had a big gun here somewhere. I'm just gonna shoot the rest of these like so. I am on my clock, so I'm gonna focus a little bit. Almost did. I don't think I'm supposed to shoot that. I think I need to pick that up. Those are some sort of item. They do something. I don't remember what right now. I think they're like items that have special effects like... oh my goodness, just stop. Go home. So Gainer, the reason Gainer's so busted though, is that he has a little pocket cluster grenade, which does a ton of damage, does a ton of hits, This is one of his tension spending attacks. Boom, got them both. Ha. And kills practically anything in one hit. Bosses are exempt from this, but only barely. I have to get to this dude. Where's he coming from? He also has time slow. He has bullet time, slows down everything but him. To say that that's a little busted would be a dramatic understatement. Especially since he's a melee unit and utilizes that extremely effectively. So it's like, oh, let's slow down time except for me and just generally fuck things up. He has multi-targeting attacks that work kind of like Macross missiles, only they're like hula hoops of death. He's got it all. He's pretty good. He's also absurdly good in Another Century's episode 3. Let's try and melee this thing. Because getting up in its face is a good idea. Fortunately for all these attacks, I have to sit friggin' still to shoot them off. Get back here, you lady! I shoot. Also, I am dashing up and down. Did that connect? I think it did. So killing her is going to be a bit of a trial. Oh. We got her. I think, sort of. We dealt sufficient damage. Now we're probably wondering, we were just fighting that. Why are the enemies fighting her? Well, largely so she can just do that and make us very impressed. Could that possibly be my waifu? Not mine. Character. It's a character in the game. Definitely not me. She has a name. It's Marina. See? I should have, like, arm Vulcans or another thing, but I must be confusing it with the other GPO3. Yes, we shall save. So, like, there's... my bottom line for Ace 3 is there's this vast amount of, like, relative difference between characters that doesn't need to be there. So some characters are just going to be good, period. No matter what situation you put them in, they're going to just dominate. Other characters are going to be borderline garbage for reasons completely outside of their control. Their toolkit can even be spectacular, but... oh yeah, I wanted to choose that. Oh, I still need to get more pilot score, and I think it's something like that number divided by 10 or something silly. And yes, I do have enough for you. Okay, that gets me up reasonably high. I think it's level 10 for all of these is the max level. I think. Could be dead wrong on that. I also think I'm going to need to heal him, and I do not have enough points to do that. Oh, well. Gundams in this game are kind of iffy. But yeah, ASAR has a bunch of interesting stuff going on. It's got a really... it's got a pretty clear or overwhelmingly divergent, I should say, route system. So you've got um, big route shifts that change a lot, and they determine who you're allowed to have available with you. It's an aspect taken from what's it called? Super Robot Wars games, which isn't a bad thing. I think it's very good because it promotes replaying the game more than once. But when you have unskippable cutscenes, you really never want to play certain portions of the game more than once. And you have to go through those. One is right at the very midpoint, immediately after everyone's coalesced into a group and before you're going to split as a group. And then the other one is right at the very end where everyone comes together again. You're going to have to sit through a 5 or 6 minute cutscene and an 8 to 10 minute cutscene that you cannot skip, and you can make a sandwich and eat in that time every time you play through the game. And there's an achievement or a trophy for in that game for going through with every single playable member of the cast through the final mission, it's not the final mission, but through this final segment that's a scrolling shooter and depicts the thrilling thrilling finale of Macross Frontier, where you have to sit through like eight minutes of material, and if you think any sane person is going to do that, they're not. It's like 8 minutes if you participate. If you just sit back and let it do its own thing, it's like 10. it's really bad. It's insufferable. That said, I think Ace R had a lot of really good ideas, but they're marred by being distressingly poorly executed. Do I really have that little health? Jesus. Frigadoodle, let's switch to the GPO1. And the full Vernian at that. Yeah, let's do that. It's really not going to let me do that? That's going to be space only too? That's some bullshit, in my humble opinion. Okay, fine. That's fine. We'll do that for now. Yeah, there's a lot to like about ASAR, but it makes it so hard to like. Yes, it's a floating space pyramid, don't worry about it. All right. Okay. Oh, this isn't the defense object version, or objective version. That's good. Now, I could have sworn some units in this game had deployable shields, but I might be misremembering. So what I'm going to start doing as well is if there are clustered up enemies again, stop. Because I'm going to start killing them to death like that. It also had a weird system in ASAR. I'm going to stop obsessing on ASAR in a minute, I promise. In ASAR, it has an interesting system wherein... that was a 2-for-1 special. Very nice. Oh, that's fine. That is not fine. I shoot at you. matter. Too late now. I lost my train of thought. Ignore me. Ignore me. I'm just here for blather while you people watch fancy robot things happening. I vaguely remember you. I just used my combination attack. Shit. Shoot him again. Shoot him again. Hey, 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 get. Oh, is it a counterattack? No. Maybe it is a counterattack. I don't remember. Blonk. Blonk. I could have sworn there was a shield deploy. Unless that's Ace 3 and I'm just misremembering features. Maybe it's something I have to unlock. I don't remember now. I'm really bad at dodging things. You're intended to do Ace difficulty, I think, after upgrading a bit, because it is relentless. Duck guy. Yamero! I chortle at these things when I have no reason to. In-jokes. Silly in-jokes to boot. Other shows I really liked. Dunbine. There's an actual English dub for that one, if you can find it. I recommend it highly as a show. It's fun. Yoshiyuki Tomino, at his peak height of his career, came out with some really cool stuff. Blomp! That's right, they're durable now. Probably would not be concerned about that. But... yeah, I think it's a counterattack ability, that's my issue here. Oh, no you don't. No siree, Bob, I think that is not acceptable at all. You will die this day. Me and my friends have a word. We'll have a word with you. We will go explode us. There are ways I can dodge all that crap. But Aesar had a cute system. I say cute, it was actually really frustrating system for anybody with like a beam cannon or beam rifle equivalent. There was like a combo input system for firing more than one at once, and the timing on it was absurd. It was really tight. In this, it's pretty basic, bitch. You hold down the button and shoot happens. That's what you find a point on it. You just hold down the button and shoot a lot. Something's getting damaged, and it's probably me. I'll not have it. Not in my not inner earth thing. Go home. I'm pretty sure this is... oh, here we go. Body time. This should at least make them feel regret. Seriously, watch Aura Battler Dunbine. That show is cool. Melee me! Melee me! Melee me! It's not happening. It's just not in the cards at all. And I understand why. It's okay. I get it. Okay, that didn't work either. I'm in trouble. Getting hurt. So, cute systems this has. Something shoots a missile at you. If you have head Vulcans, you can shoot it down. Let's see if they'll actually do it. Probably not. It's sort of a... the enemies have to be willing to participate thing. And a lot of the time they are not. They're understandably hesitant to... oh boy, wrong button there. Oh boy. Okay, well, we're good. She's toast. So this is happening at an interesting, very critical moment in the relative plot of, did I attack the wrong unit? I'm gonna be embarrassed. I think I did. Oh, that is mortifying. Mortificating. Ow, stop shooting. I'm just gonna plink away at her and pray. Right now, it's the best I can do. Oh dear. Did that. Oh. I'm gonna kill whatever this guy is, but he's dead now. There's 600 health left, which means a stiff breeze could take me down. Actually, I'm gonna start boosting around. Okay, so that all could have gone a hell of a lot better than it did. So I got hurt rather badly. Okay. Something about going home to Byston Well. Not quite how it happens in the series, by the way. In the series, being Yoshiyuki Tomino at his height, a hell of a lot more people die. And I don't mean just like dead, and maybe dead. People die. Like, wow. They didn't call that man Kill 'em All for no reason. Let's put it that way. There were some very good reasons for calling him Kill 'em All Tomino. Pretty sure that's a counterattack move, but I don't remember now. Yeah, it's a counterattack move. So what's supposed to happen, it happened once, I saw it happen, so I know it occurred. As you do that, something melee attacks you, and do a counterattack, which does a lot of damage. But the AI is not quite so dumb as to just let you get away with that shit. It will absolutely be like, I'm gonna read those inputs. I disagree. I'm not going to be taken in by this ruse. And so it is not taken in by that ruse. It will just not melee attack you. Not, in other words, as useful an ability as you would think. We're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip that. We're gonna move right along. Still on land. They're just telling us how the battle lines have changed. It doesn't really matter. They get more involved in the plot in these as the series go by. Ace 3 is relatively light on that stuff. This game actually does it pretty well. It tends not to intrude over much. But it has a plot, and it puts some thought into things. It's basically like playing action-y Super Robot Wars title. I would love to showcase one of those. How much cash do I have on hand? Because I've got to heal some dudes in the worst way. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I can do a weapon upgrade. Madunka. I do have some cash on hand, so I will have to use that. Oh my goodness. No, won't be able to do that. I wish it had cursor memory. 1990, so I'll just keep him along. I am, though, going to get that up to level 2. And that, I think, will give me... Oh, just another melee combo. Stop. Yes. Now I have to remember to actually heal characters. Arg! This is not what I wanted. So there's a simulator. As you can now see, a simulator exists. Okay, so I have 10k. It's probably going to cost all of that. Yes, we're going to Africa now. Pretty sure there's there's actually very good sci-fi reasons to want to go to Africa. Holy Hannah, here we go. Are you already healed up? There is an auto-healing system, but I don't remember how it worked. I'm just gonna go into this with the GPO3. Can't do it. That's fine. See, that's all stuff for the cool GPO3, not the less cool GPO3, which saddens me deeply. Okay. Just gonna do this with the GPO2 and the GPO3. I think that is one of the special attacks. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna do any of that. I'm gonna play with different characters entirely. Play as the Black Selena. No. No. Yes. Yes. And I will go with pure variety on this one. Bring you along, and somebody from Dunbine. Who do I want from Dunbine? No, Lasner. No, I'll bring the Bilbine. I bringeth the Bilbine. Oh, it's the fancy Bilbine that I don't was not in the series. I don't think it's statistically different, but it's like the Bilbine with Dunbine colors. So this is the Black Selena. It's pretty good. Not the least of which because it's got like shooty bits for days and it's fast as hell. Oh yeah, a friggin' shield. And oh yeah, teleporting, by the way. Did I mention that? No, I neglected to mention teleporting. Yeah, I can teleport. Clank. And multi-targeting shooting guns. It's also got a pretty respectable melee moveset to boot, as well as it's the R1. Pretty bitchin' tail whip type action, which also moves it quite a bit. Not sure what I'm supposed to be targeting there, but we're not targeting. Fine. These are one of the ones you have to melee. That's fine. Let's just target, please. This is mortifying. There we go. Jeez Louise. I missed. I need to get out of here. Oh, I ran out of time. That's probably a loss then. Oh well. Switch back to actually I can do a run as the new. The new is pretty rad. The new is strong. Let's see. Where's the Mark II? It's the Mark II, isn't it? That looked an awful lot like the Mark I. Is it the bad shoe? It's a bad shoe, so we might do that. That's the Mark II version. Okay. You'll see none of them probably. That's fine. Worth noting that this new Gundam, not at all just for show. Prove it too. None of these people have been weapons. Also has a delightfully fast firing. also fin funnels. Also, balloon dummies. Oh, love it. Excuse me. Yes, yes, yes. You're disaffected. We understand. It's okay. There will be clanking of explosions this day. Okay, dude. That's fine. We either ran out of time or we got him. One of the two. I wasn't paying attention to the clock. Speaking of clocks, I only have a little bit of time left. I'm gonna go back to doing come on. That's fine, whatever that was. Audio file, I think. Gonna go back to using the GPO2 and its ilk. Still not enough. Getting closer though. Install better judgment. Let's bump all that stuff up a level. Do GPO2 and GPO3. But of course the combination attack might be GPO2 and GPO1, which would be about right. You don't start doing space missions until pretty late, from what I remember. Well, I don't like any of these guys, so peace out. Hope you like the taste of radiation. Oh my goodness. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna largely be brute forcing this one and meleeing them, because shooting at them means they have time to shoot back. Here, they'll only get like one good set of hits in. With me going and meleeing the crap out of them. That is a pretty sizable number of enemies. GPO2 and GPO1. There's a couple. You can sort of see things exploding. Those little red circles you keep seeing. Oh, here we go. I'm pretty sure this is one of the special ones. If it's not, that doesn't look like. Those usually have like a animated cut in, so you can generally tell. I think it's the GPO2 and the GPO1 then. Some of them are only 2. A bunch of them are 3. But I can't remember all the combinations offhand. They are hurting me something fierce, aren't they? Alright. So 44%. I think that's the thing I need to blow up, which is over here-ish. Question mark. I don't remember. Oh, here we go. Mayo Plateau and his goon squad. This is going to be interesting. Considering I'm still waiting on my nuke. Rawr. It's not Mayo Plateau, is it? Yeah, it is though. Yeah, man. Clank. Oh my goodness, they are just eating me alive. I don't think this is the guy I want to be beating on. Oh well, it is, but I want to be beating on his goon squad though. Like so. Goon squad. And I'll leave Plato himself for last. Plato is a lot like Gato, except not a feckless idiot. I'm sorry. I have very low opinions of Gato. He's just kind of like, oh. But for the glory of Xeon, really? Yeah, the Earthnoids. The Earthnoids make me sad. Well. Clang of metal on metal. Clang! I hope your goon squad knows your name, the address of your family, dude. Why is he giving me more trouble? I guess he knows that I'm kind of desperate at the moment. I should have saved that nuke. That's what I should have done. Yes, yes, the HLV is taking off. So, of course, the Giganos Empire and the Xeon remnants are allied together because of course they are. I mean, why wouldn't they, right? Oh no. Things exploded. A lot of this. The basis of all drama is lack of communication, and that's pretty much the drama here, is people aren't communicating, and therefore people are getting blown up that didn't need to be blown up. Yes, yes, we know. Yes, yes. I think I am actually going to have to run, but let's save first. See if I can get an upgrade on... That's the wrong one again. You just... Uncanny knack territory, dude. Uncanny knack. Yeah, there we go. So let's, oh my goodness, I can't believe you've done this. Let's upgrade and we'll just try and remember what it was. One of these should get me the deployable shield unless that is absolutely not a thing in this one, which is decidedly possible. I wish it weren't, but it is. 4330. No, I'm not going to do that. 0 level 3. I could stint to upgrade more of that stuff. Yes, yes. I'll do one more mission, then I am going to have to go. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, and now we get to go to space. Awesome. I'm 99% sure you can get the new Zeal in this. I don't remember how that's done, mind you. Oh my goodness, no. Oh, you can even winnow it down. How nice. I think that just added a melee combo, to be honest. Yeah, that's absolutely all it did. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is for my control unit, we're doing the GPO3, and we're absolutely doing the real champion, manly champion GPO3. The disadvantage of doing this, of course, is that you have to do it solo because you're a giant mobile armor, which is fine. Means you don't get combination attacks, but it hardly matters because you're a murder machine. Now, in Another Century's episode 3, the Getter Robo, or the Shin Getter rather, works the same way, but it's 3 units in one. So it's got quite an advantage there. I definitely want to do Another Century's episode 3. I want to show that off at some point. I may do that next week. I may keep doing this because I really like Ace 2. I had forgotten how painful Ace 1 was to play. R1, I believe, is... What's the other one? Oh, this is going to be like a tutorial for space. Here we go. So this satellite thing here, I believe, is what that really powerful attack that the gun arc I used in the beginning had that took away a third of my health uses. I believe he's using this satellite, which I think is friggin' neat. Oh, I love that stock sound effect. It's a good one. Ooh, textures are done. There's something wrong with my cable, and I don't know what it is. I was thinking it was just the, let's see. Many missiles go boom. Big laser go, well, particle beam, I guess, go boom. Do a barrel roll! Okay, that is the eye field. This is big missiles that hit like a truck. This is the... Okay, it looked like a beam, but I swear it moves differently when you're actually doing it. Go. Okay, so there's definitely enemies around. I just have to actually find them and target them. Aha! Down here. What's our melee attacks? Also very, very fast. In Ace 3, the stages are a lot more bland, but they're also huge, so moving quickly actually does matter I think I just ran into my own missiles. I just outran them. Which actually makes sense in its way, because the GPO-3 Dendrobium is monstrous. It's like an obnoxious amount of its mass is taken up by engine. Okay, so I'm not in range for the mini missiles, which is fine. Oh my goodness, what's going on there? Ah, that poor mine chain does not know what to do. I would feel a lot more pity for it if it were deserving of pity. Okay. Ah! Camera controls. Totally the opposite of what I'm expecting. Boom! Wham! Howie. Sure, whatever you say, Ko. I need to target the actual enemy. Thank you. Nope, that's not him either. Crap! There we go. There's a way to equip those things, but I don't remember how. Sixers are fucked up. My disc for this is relatively pristine. I got it used too, but it was not as beat. Alright. Okay, with that I'm going to check to see if I can upgrade my GPO-3 any. Or if it's just the unlimited ammo super mode version. Incidentally, unlimited ammo for the GPO-2 is hilarious, because I believe you get unlimited ammo for your bazooka. Your Nukazuka. It is dumb. Other characters on which such a thing is dumb, and that's what I wanted to do, is the Wing Zero custom, Endless Waltz custom. Absolutely foolish stuff there. Because it's just like colossal death rays every goddamn which way. I apparently didn't earn enough score that last one, so I will have to go back. With that, though, I do actually have to call it. I have things I must accomplish this day. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you tune in next week. I'll probably be doing more of this. Failing that, I'll be doing another Centuries Episode 3. I'd like to be doing this, though. Later in the week, this Wednesday, I will be doing my Warframe Wednesday stream. Tune in for that, and I'm sure I'll come up with something thematic to do. I don't know what yet. Because I definitely don't do this fly-by-wire at all. No siree, Bob. And then this Saturday, I'll be doing my Storytime Saturdays stream. So tune in, or catch it after the fact. Not picky. And thanks for tuning in if you tuned in today, and have a great day.